Now, there's a lot of talk about Alexa Grasso as the number one pound for pound fighter. I talked about how she would become the number one pound for pound fighter after they remove Amanda Nunes from the roster. Now, a lot of people feel like it should have gone to Zhang Weili. I've seen Weili's name most often. Most people say, no, if it has to be a female champion between Grasso and Weili, it should have been Weili. But Weili doesn't make sense mathematically. So if she doesn't make sense mathematically, then she just doesn't make sense at all. Okay, the fact is, Weili's on a 2-fight win streak. Grasso is on a 6 at this point? I'm thinking it's a 6-fight win streak for Alexa Grasso. Okay, let's take a look. Yes, no, 5. So 5-fight win streak for Grasso, 2-fight win streak for Weili. So Grasso has a better win streak. On top of that, Weili had consecutive losses. Grasso has not had consecutive losses. Also, Weili's 2 losses were at her current division. Grasso hasn't lost that flyweight. This fight was her flyweight debut. So she has 2 stoppages and 3 decision victories. All wins at the division. So she makes more sense than Weili. Now, granted, Weili has defeated more champions. Weili has defeated 1, 2, 3 former champions. And Alexa Grasso, I don't think, has defeated any former champions, aside from Valentina Shevchenko. So Weili may be more proven at the upper level, at the championship level. She may have a more proven record as a champion, as far as the caliber of opponent she's defeated. But Grasso is still the best option. Now, it's up to Valentina to change that. Okay? That's another reason why Grasso's number one pound for pound. She knocked off Shevchenko. I mean, look at who Weili took the belt from. Carla Esparza. Nobody thought Carla was the rightful champion. That was Carla's first title defense, and she lost it. Who was a stronger champion? Carla Esparza or Valentina Shevchenko? So I can understand why they chose to make Grasso the number one pound for pound fighter. It's just where the division is right now. And when I say division, I mean the female division. That's just where they are right now. It's a transition period. There are no established champions. Nunes was the last established champion, and she's gone. It is up to Valentina. Now, Grasso can lose this fight. I can see Alexa Grasso in this fight feeling like she didn't deserve it. You know, a part of Alexa Grasso might believe that her victory was a fluke. Just like a lot of people say that her victory was a fluke. she might believe that to some extent as well. I mean, we don't know. And if she believes that that victory was somewhat of a fluke, those feelings could resurface during the fight. And she might fight as if she doesn't feel worthy. Who knows? Anything can happen. I've seen a lot of things in fights, man. I've seen things like this before. That's definitely a possibility. That she gets in there and she, it dawns on her, hey, I shouldn't have, I got lucky. That was a Hail Mary submission victory in the first fight. I'm not on this girl's level. When she's all in, I'm not on her level. And look, if there was any champion who was to get complacent, it would be Valentina. I'm actually surprised it's taken this long, if that's the case. You have to believe, or at least I have to believe, it's hard not to believe that some part of Valentina got complacent, where she believed her own hype and she lost motivation to fight these girls, where, she had to have reached a point where, like, hey, I don't have nothing else to prove. So maybe she did not put in as much effort. We'll see in the rematch. If Valentina fights the same basic fight she fought in the first fight, then Grasso simply has a style that she doesn't like, that Valentina is uncomfortable with. It's that simple. So we'll see. Maybe Grasso makes a whole bunch of title defenses. We don't know. Grasso could beat what in the world? Okay. Yeah, Grasso could defeat some of the other flyweights at the top of the division. She could beat Manon. That's not out of the question. Now, I would take Manon, but I wouldn't count Grasso out of that fight. I wouldn't count her out against anybody. Grasso could very well beat Shevchenko in a rematch, beat Manon, beat Taylor Santos, beat Erin Blanchfield, and maybe even Katlyn Sermonara. Okay, she's changed her name. She is no longer Chukagian. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Grasso is going to make a bunch of title defenses. There's a good chance she loses that belt to Valentina. And I think, it depends on what Valentina does for the most part. And not just what she does. Depending on what Grasso do. People need to show Grasso more respect. She's on a 5-fight win streak. She hasn't lost in this division. It's not like she's some, bum. And her record ain't that bad. She got 3 losses. 3 losses out of 16, out of 19 fights. She lost 3 of those fights. It's not all that bad. The fact that she's undefeated at flyweight, that makes her resume look a lot stronger. At least from this seat. And a bunch of people thought she beat Carla Esparza. Okay, so there's an argument for only 2 losses on her record. She's never looked that bad, even in her losses. I mean, think of how bad Teresa Bleda has looked. I know I pick on Bleda, but she's a real good example. When she loses, she looks bad. A lot of fighters, when they lose bad. Not so much with Grasso. So, I'm not trying to take up for Grasso. I understand no matter what, people still believe she shouldn't be number 1 pound-for-pound fighter. I just wanted to put out the case for Grasso. There is a case for her. Put your emotions aside and just deal with numbers. Numerically, mathematically, she has the best argument for number one pound-for-pound fighter. Now, it's not smart for a fighter like Wei Li to even think about Grasso right now. Wei Li's toughest fight, I think, is one of her toughest fights. Because I still think she has an issue with Rose. I don't know if she got Rose Namajunas-itis. I have no idea what her issue is. If I was in Wei Li's corner, I would send her out there to absolutely destroy Rose. Keep walking forward, busting her up. Don't worry about nothing. Just walk forward, move your head, and keep beating her up. Eventually, Rose will fold, man. She will fold eventually. But that's a tough division for any champion. Even if Lemos takes the belt from Wei Li, Lemos going to stay in trouble. She going to stay in trouble constant. And I tell you what, she might fight Tatiana Suarez. And I can see Lemos being in all kinds of trouble against Suarez, against a hyper-aggressive wrestler. I think gives Lemos problems. So you got Tatiana Suarez. She's about to fight Jessica Andrade. Some people feel like this is Andrade's retirement fight. Yeah, I don't think Andrade is going to survive this one. Okay, Suarez is not dumb. She's going to try to get the fight to the ground. Suarez has already said, she's on record, saying that she views the octagon as a giant wrestling mat. She said that. No way Andrade takes this fight, man. I don't see that. So insert Suarez at number 5. Now you really got problems. Whoever the champion is, you're in all kinds of trouble. And look, Suarez takes out Andrade. Expect Rose to retire. Suarez coming back might retire both Rose and Carla Esparza. Because Carla, I don't think, wants no more of that either. But Rose is running scared. I don't think Rose wants no parts of Suarez. She wants no parts of no Amanda Lemos. And she may not want no more of Wei Li Zhang. I don't know, honestly, what's going on with her. I imagine we'll see with time. But I don't think she wants no problems with Suarez. Suarez already called her out. Already made it known that that's the fighter she wants. And notice how the UFC matched Tatiana Suarez up against Jessica Andrade. I do believe that they offered Rose that fight. And Rose turned it down. Just like Rose rejected a fight offer against several other fighters. Marina Rodriguez, Yan Xiaonan. Rose turned it down, and she turned it down. And there was another one. Who's the other one? There was another one. Rose rejected. So, that's bad for the division. We don't need a number 1 and a number 2 fighter like that. Fighters who, reject 80% of the offers that they get. Why are they even ranked? Why is Rose even ranked? She is a submission underground wrestler. Okay? She's no longer a cage fighter, at least not now. Take her off the roster until she wants to come back. That's what should be done. You imagine there would at least be another fighter who would become ranked. But there needs to be 3 more. Tisha Torres, Rose, Carla. In that bantamweight, there is no champion. So that division is going to be ugly for a while, bantamweight, because Raquel Pennington, Literally nobody cares about either one of them as champion. But I think Pena would be better for the division than Pennington. Raquel Pennington has no character, no personality. Same with Holly Holm. They're boring, boring, boring. Pena is the only one that talked like a fighter. Yeah? The only trash talker, it seems like. So definitely best for division, and that's bad. To say that Pena is the best for the division, it's not looking too good. But, she got A-level mouthpiece. A-level mouthpiece, man. And I can't say that about anybody else. Miesha Tate might be kind of well-spoken, but she's not a fight talker. Craziest thing in the world. So we'll see who becomes the next champion. But Manon, she needs to get a fight booked and get back in here. Same with Erin Blanchfield. What in the world is going on here? I thought Erin was supposed to fight Manon in Paris. Does Manon have an opponent? The UFC Paris or France has been made already. So what are they waiting on? Yeah, there's no fight news for Manon. Okay? And they have the same article in circulation that surfaced earlier. This is from back in March. So she's had a lot to say. Manon has had a lot to say about Erin Blanchfield. Let's make that fight. So Erin is talking about Juliana Pena and stuff like this. So I don't know. Weird stuff going on. Taylor Santos in exile. She can't leave Brazil. Like, what is this? These girls, it's not until they get to the top of the division do they start dancing around and having doubts and doing other stuff. What is with that? Why don't you do all this extracurricular stuff before you become a top 5 ranked fighter? Now, I'm not talking about Manon, but goodness, what is going on with Taylor Santos? It sounded like something from her own irresponsibility. She forgot to do something or renew something. She had visa issues. That should not happen. Of course, Esparza pregnant. She's out. She don't want to fight no more anyways. Carla wants to be a mother and a wife. And that's what she needs to do. Focus on that. I don't like to see all these mom fighters. Stop with that. No more mom fighters. You're bringing kids to fight and all this type of nonsense. Don't rob your child's energy, okay? Because you can't give everything you got to your child if you're a fighter, okay? You're going to have to be a part-time parent and a part-time fighter. So you're not going to be real efficient at either one of them. But I digress. Hopefully the fighters at the top of the division become more active, take better care of themselves, and we will see where these divisions are, where the champions are 6 months from now.